Hey guys, we're excited to be here to talk about the next generation data protection management and protection solution. I'm Junior Silva. I'm the product manager for this next gen platform from StorageCraft. Just a little bit on StorageCraft. We've been founded in 2003. Global company, global offices, very focused in technology and being able to bring innovation in technology. So traditionally, we've been a lot of our data protection and some drivers. They have been OEM'd and we've done partnerships with other companies in the past. And some of early days VMware converter and things like that. But we're excited to keep growing and bring something that's new and refreshing in the data protection world. Just to give an idea, I mean, to take away on this slide is just, we service a lot of different verticals. Our data protection solution has been proven in a lot of different companies, and there's some need that you guys have. We're able to meet that. Let's talk about the challenges that we're seeing. There's three main challenges that we keep seeing a lot in the industry right now. So one is the data growth challenge. This has been it's hard because there's really no crystal ball to how to solve this. Unfortunately, every time the unstructured data is growing like crazy. You guys already know this, so I don't need to talk too much about it, but you get the idea where it's kind of there's a lot of data, there's a lot of you can't quite grasp what's going on. You provision software, and then later you end up having to reprovision. It's hard to get it right. You just bought storage last year, you're buying it again, that type of thing. And so this is something that we see that there's a lot of problems to solve in the data growth and data management functionality wise. Also with that data growing, what starts happening is, I mean, you have more and more data to be protected, so your backup windows are going up. You have your recovery times start going up because you have to move more data across and back and forth. And so the amount of time that it takes you to kind of get back up and running, it just takes longer. So costs of business is just getting faster and faster. So this is something that we view, and I'm going to show you guys how we solve this problem a little bit later. But you guys get it. You've been through this. So the other thing that a very hard challenge is security. Around the security era, we have I was talking to a security expert, and he said it's not a matter of if, it's when. And so he's like, you have to take that approach. You have to take an approach of, okay, if things were to go down, if I had some security problem like ransomware, like how long would it take for me to recover? And I was in a meeting, and they were talking about how all of the someone made a comment that on this new security level that it was unbreakable. And this person, he was a graduate from I can't remember if it was MIT or but it was prestigious school. And he goes, wait a second, it's like, I actually have to stop you. It's like, that's not true because everything will get broken at some point. So we just have to kind of, what are the strategies and things that you can do to mitigate that? With our StorageCraft, we've developed a platform. We've been research for the last 12 to 18 months of like, how do we make something that is really future-proof, that's flexible, that you're able to take advantage of the newest technologies, that you're able to protect the newest technologies. The environments are changing, and how do we create something that changes with that? And so we're going to see from one place you have all of your data management needs with our OneSafe product. all your data protection needs with our shadow safe product. And then also, we have our purpose-built VR as a service cloud. This is where we can instantiate a machine online and connect to your on-prem. It's purpose-built, and I can kind of go a little bit over the differences there. With OneSafe, to give you an idea, just people relate, it's like, well, your storage appliance, what is it like? So this is our converged scale-out storage. So you have the ability to keep scaling. It also integrated with DR as a service offering, all into a single platform. So you have manage data protection, manage secondary storage, and manage DR all into a single platform. So competitive products kind of like that. It's very modular, so you can choose if you want to just go after, I just need a secondary storage. Then you have, it would be in the competitive range of like an HP, Dell, Exagrid, NetApp, those guys. If you're looking for, I want secondary storage, but I also want data protection capabilities all together into a single solution, it'd be comparable to like a Cohesity or Rubrik offering, with a lot more value. So, in general, about half the price and twice the storage, available storage for you to back up. So some differentiators, it's super easy to deploy and manage, and I'll be able to show you here a little demo of that in a little bit. The scale out architecture, obviously you don't need to, it's not a scale up architecture. It's not you're gonna have to buy more shelves. You just, all commodity. So web-like scale, you just drop another node and you start protecting. And then some instant recovery capabilities that you're able to do, and obviously very cost effective. You're gonna see compared to a lot of value for you in there. There's also the Shadow Safe product line. This is where all the SLA-oriented protection, you can do on-prem, agent versus agentless, physical protection, all of those things. This would be comparable. If you want it, comes in appliance. It's a virtual-only appliance, like a Veeam or Unitrends, a Cronus, some of the competitors in that space around the appliance. So some of the differentiators, the ease of deployment, ease of use. I'm going to show you guys on that. It's amazing what we've done for that. Single pane of glass and instant recovery, right? This is where we spend a lot of time, like how do we create something where it's really easy to deploy, really simple, really fast to get it up and running, and take all the guesswork out of it. This is Shadow Safe. And then we have our next gen, our DR as a service. This is a purpose-built cloud where we're able to protect instantiated machines. You have a one-click failover. This is built for data protection, and with the idea of getting all the machines in an orchestrated fashion up and running. So some competitor products like Unitrends or Cronus, they have their own clouds. We replace also, we have SaaS protection, so like Office 365 protection and G Suite protection. So you'll see as comparative as well, like a Veeam, Backify, and Spanning. So this is kind of some of the differentiators for that. We do have a 24/7 portal where you can access. That's a big deal because we know disasters never happen during business hours. It's never the case. And so to be able to have a portal where you can go in and do all of those things from one place, it's very important. Also, you're able to spin up this cloud service and instance without any charge for up to 30 days in our cloud. So for 30 days, we know that testing is part of DR planning. And so you want to be able to test it, you need to test it. And so once a month, you can go spin it all up. You still have over 2 weeks of failover that you can take advantage at no cost. It's a little bit different because it's a purpose-built cloud, so we're built for that. Versus, you try to spin up anything in a public cloud, it's going to start costing you. And so we can talk a little bit more of that as well. So as far as capacity, we talked about some of the problems that we're solving. I always ask the question over here, who was it that got the last time that they provisioned storage, they got it just right? And it's never the case. It's never been for whatever reason, they underspec it or they overspec, and they're still trying to get their ROI out of the storage. It's just hard because the data growth, it's growing very fast. So you either have to over provision and it's wasteful space for a long time, or you under provision. So, something where like on a scale out architecture that OneSafe has, if you want to go for the storage only or for the converged appliance, the data protection and secondary storage, you can have the right size and just go up with your infrastructure. So you scale out with your need. This is where you need more capacity, you drop in another node, and you're able to scale in a much more granular fashion than having to over provision a ton of storage. So what that means is that you can leverage some of the long-term cost efficiencies of hard drives, and you're able to get a really good ROI as you go with the storage solution. So also on the instant recovery side, this is something where those RTOs there's a lot more data, so you need to find a way that you're able to instantiate a VM, get it up and running without any downtime. Well, how do you do that when the size of the backups are getting bigger? There's just more data. So this is our patented technology. We call it VirtualBoot, and this is where I can take out of a machine that's out of the backup, out of secondary storage, or out of cloud storage. I'm able to instantly turn that machine on primary storage, and then any I/O that comes in, we do an intelligent pattern read ahead, and we're able to backfill that I/O directly to primary. So what that means is that you have a couple of benefits. You have the benefit of it's going directly into primary. This is true recovery. This is not spin up in a secondary and then try to vMotion after the fact and try to schedule downtime. You already went through downtime. You don't want to schedule downtime again, especially depending on the data. Also, no matter the size of the machine, of the VM, of the physical server, you're able to instantiate that, instantly turn it on. So that's really different than some other offerings where you have to, put some more SSDs for a caching layer onto your host, and then you're able to get a little bit more faster performance. None of that. Doesn't matter what the secondary is, SMB, NFS, iSCSI, or directly out of our OneSafe cluster. You're able to instantly turn that machine on, and then no need to fail back. So basically, once the machine is up and running, Windows is going to try to load, for example, and then it's going to go into the once Windows loads, then all your apps and services start loading. So we bring that data in, and this is all real time. Things that you created just seconds before, it's readily available. And then anytime it gets access, it gets pulled into the primary storage. It's directly accessed to primary. Anytime you hit access again, it goes directly out of primary. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get to test and do things directly in primary storage and get primary performance out of it. You're not getting a degraded performance with higher latencies or higher lower IOPS in these secondary systems. So the idea is to put the machine back and bring in all of the information at the time you need it. But then there's also a bunch, even on like a 5 terabyte VM, there's a lot of that is just cold data. There's just a lot of unstructured cold data. And then you're able to get that information and stream that along the way but you release your machine and your services are back and up and running and ready to go. So this is kind of the a big difference that what we're doing in our shelf safe product line. To give you an idea of kind of the efficiency and comparison, we have just an amount of clicks, something like one of our main competitors, just to deploy. I mean, you're talking about less than 100 clicks to deploy the solution, less than 5 minutes to deploy the solution. You want to be able to deploy and start protecting and managing. And at the time of restores, 4 clicks versus 22, where there's 22 different decisions you got to make sure you're going to do it right. Well, we're the experts on the data protection, so we'll take on all the hard decisions and then allow you to just select the machine you want, select a point in time, and click go. This is kind of where we really shine. So this is a 500 gig machine that we tested right here on this 16 milliseconds. 16 milliseconds in order for us to instantiate that machine. So it takes, a fraction of the time. So in milliseconds, you're able to instantiate. This gets even worse the bigger the machine is. For competitors, for us, it gets better. So not better in time-wise, but the difference that you see, 30 milliseconds, 32 milliseconds of a 1 terabyte machine. It takes longer for the VMware APIs to actually power on and create the machine than it does for us to initiate that restore. So there's a big difference in what others can do and that we can do. So let me show you guys, give you a little tour and show you this new management experience. So this is my instance. It's shadow safe instance. We have I just deployed the imports and OVF. It's ready to go. You guys are familiar with importing those things. And then you hit the IP and start ready to go. So this to give you an idea of just kind of the experience. Everything in this platform, when we were building it, we wanted to, about 18 months ago, almost 2 years, we wanted to build the platform that was highly scalable, highly performant. So everything is built on a microservices architecture. And those microservices, when interviewing a lot of people, they're like, I just want a big green check mark. And so that's what we did. So we have in our system health, all of those services. Some of them are self-healing. What you're going to see is a lot more of that coming along, where they can detect if certain things are not in place and they can start healing the system. Unprotected machines, there's a lot of people that the second thing, they're like, look, if the system's up and running, is there anything that I should be aware that I should be protecting that I'm not? Right? That was a big question mark that people had. And then of the things that I am protecting, what's the current status of that? What are any warnings, anything that's failing? Let me know those things so I know how to address, or if I need to take action. The second part was kind of made for in a data protection, figuring out what's the storage like, what's the consumption, what's the change rate in this environment per day, so that you're able to kind of plan a little bit better and understand this a little more. So we have a real time also on the data protection, what's going on right now with the system. And then also this is where integrating our OneSafe. This is a converged unit, so it's got the data protection and the secondary storage, everything ready to go. So any of these, I can go live into it. So just kind of show you what that's like. So I can come in here and select, figure out the cluster that I have available, all the networking. You can see all the lifetime data reduction for this cluster. Also today's total data reduction for this cluster. And this is on top of figuring out also creating any shares, anything that you need on the secondary. You can serve SMB or NFS shares. Deploying the system is super easy. Again, you import that VM, the OVA. There's a little guided tool right here. It's 4 steps to do, and it checks you, if you've done each of them. I can add a vCenter environment, and then it automatically discovers all my machines, everything that I'm ready to protect. It automatically comes in here. Also, you can deploy any agents. So if you have, in case you have a physical agents that you need to protect, so physical machines, in case you need transactional VMs, so you want a tighter VSS integration, all of those will be able to get protected right here. The second step, so once we automatically discover, we sync everything, it's super fast, so sync it. Then the second step is a storage. So figuring out any storage location that you have for putting the data protection. So if it comes up, if it's one of the integrated systems, the location is already ready to go. So you don't need to do anything for that step. But if you're deploying just the virtual appliance, then you can select the storage. We also don't restrict any, if you want to keep getting more ROI and out of the storage location that you already have, you can back up to us and you can replicate to another storage. Not a problem. More copies of the data for you, and you can still, you don't have to completely replace your secondary storage if you don't want to, and just get the most ROI out of it. So when adding over here the types, NFS, iSCSI, SMB, or our StorageCraft Cloud services, you can select any of those protocols and we'll start using that location. AES 256-bit encryption on all of the storage, any backups, and multiple in the layers. Each of the machines use their own key, and so we do all the key management for you. So it makes it very simple for you to manage that. Once that happens, the third step is on the policies. So this is where we spend a lot of time on these policies, iterating. What is it like to have an experience where the full data protection lifecycle is right there. I know the name of the policy, the number of machines. I can affect hundreds to thousands of machines in just one single tweak of this policy. So it's automatically applied to everything. Site, RPOs, destinations, retention periods, and then a little diagram of what the data protection is like. Also, we probably had a lot, like just adding a new one so you can see. Very simple. So setting a name, setting up, what's the snapshot frequency, 15 minutes, down to dailies, weeklies, monthlies. Setting up the storage, and then, retention. How many, number of daily recovery points that you want to keep. So 14 days worth, 14 daily recovery points. Number of weekly recovery points, 6 weeks. And number of monthlies, so 12 or 12 months. Super simple. You tell us what you want to keep. A lot of products, and even with our StorageCraft, our initial products, it gets kind of cumbersome trying to figure out. We didn't want to make it at the end of the day. You're like, look, there's like a math. Some things are like, take this many snapshots, keep this many. It's just, and you're like, at the end of the day, it's like, what do I have? What do I want at the end of the day? I want to be able to restore. So how many recovery points do I have to restore from? Well, you have this many. So just trying to simplify and make it very easy to use. Replication is the same thing. Everything is searchable. You can search a location and you want to sync it or you want to replicate daily. Very easy to use. You can select multiple targets. and be able to keep adding targets to replicating that data. So also we knew that a lot of times, like, we probably spent about 44 iterations on that screen alone, trying to simplify and bring the ease of management to you guys. Just to give you an example of that, we just wanted to, most of the times that people have asked, like, look, I want pretty much all the same settings. I just want a different RPO. So to be able to say, okay, clone, set the name for it, change the RPO, save. I mean, that's kind of the power of the solution and the technology, where it's just like that, 2 clicks, you're done. You can just move on to assigning policies. You can also set default policies, so anything that's discovered in that environment can automatically get assigned protection. So you can also ignore a certain host or cluster. So if you have a test host or test cluster, like, hey, there's machines that are going to be popping in here, just go ahead and ignore those. Those are also excluded from this auto assignment. The last step is on the protection page is everything that's discovered, all of the VMs, all of the agents, and their status and how they go. So these are Windows agents that are installed. It could be on physical servers or on VMs. And then any VM that's associated to and discovered, I can select any of those. I can select all of them and assign policy. So notice the exact screen that I saw before. It's sitting right here. The full data protection lifecycle is sitting in this policy. So again, 2 clicks, you assign protection, and you're done. Also, it's very important to be able to filter on these things. Which things are the things that are in a warning status. Being able to reset that and searching, different hosts. So we can go to R2U15 and see their status over here. So we have all of those. We can select all of them and change. So 24 VMs on this host and change their option. We can also keep going, to keep narrowing down to this machine, which ones they are. You can reset and redo certain filters, so everything is saved. So it makes it really easy to show me actually CentOS across all of my hosted clusters, searching different vCenters, different data centers, and all of that. So it makes it very easy to assign that. Notice no matter if it's a physical machine or a virtual machine, it's all the same exact protection. It operates, it goes into the same policy. There's not a different work path. It's like, oh, if you're going to protect physical, you got to do this other thing. That's not the case. We wanted to look, it's a machine. I still want to be protected. I still want to be, no matter if it's a physical or a virtual, this is the protection I want. This is the replication that I want for it. So hopefully you can see the ease of use that we've done there. And then in the dashboard, something that we always keep look out for is we do have a dark theme. We know disasters and they never happen in the middle of the day. It's always late at night, so this will be easy on your eyes. Also, if you want to throw this into knock view, then you're able to just set that up and go from there. So you can bring it back. So on the protection side, one of the final things on the restores, we talked to you about how we can instantiate things really fast. I mean, so system level or file recoveries, you can select a certain machine and be able to, if you leave recover from optimal, we find the fastest place, or you can say, I want to restore from this point in time. At this point, just everything is DRaaS aware. So We only show the data stores that are available to this host or this cluster. If you wanted to keep as a test, you wouldn't assign a NIC to it. Or if you were going to, you wanted to power on machine after that. So that's kind of the 3 steps, and we just, 3 clicks and you're ready to go. If you, on the analytics side, just showing you more information about, what's going on with the system, go into protection analytics and be able to set, what does it mean to have success? What's your success backup failures, and how do you define that? Over 50% or 99%? Also having the ability to hover over and figure out how many recovery points were expected and how many were actually received. Keeping the same idea on capacity training reports, you can go and understand more, what's the trend like on this storage, right? So there's consolidations, there's how much space am I actually consuming on this, and when I'm gonna be running out of space. Those are things that we want to be able to trend and show you guys, up front, instead of trying to figure out later, when you're going to plan for a certain storage outage, or because you filled it up out of space or anything like that. Okay, so there it is, and we can kind of see the trending, and we're going to be running out of storage at this rate, next year sometime. So with that configuration, we talked about, super easy. Deploy a VM, find it, automatically discovers, add the storage, your policy is ready to go, and then assign as many machines as you want. So if you want to go, hundreds or thousands at the same time, as soon as you apply, we automatically scale that, and we kind of smear that across the time frames. Make sure you have a good experience with vCenter. So on the data security side, the recovery, what we were talking about is you have on the one safe, you have CDP, so you have continuous data protection, you have immutable snapshots that you're able to revert back even if things were encrypted, and be able to also have that offsite directly in our cloud services. These are all things that you're able to leverage to keep you not. You always have to test and always have to be prepared in case something happens. So this is a StorageCraft. Your data is always safe, always accessible, always optimized, and we want to bring you the best platform and the best value into this. Any feedback, we're always open, and feel free to reach out at any time. Thanks so much.